All right, guys, next up, let's take a look at Arizona versus Clemson. Arizona coming in as the 2 seed at 27-8. Clemson coming in as the 6 seed at 23-11. Arizona coming off a win over Dayton. Kind of close on the scoreboard, but in reality, it was never really in doubt. Dayton did kind of creep into it a little bit. Kind of gave Arizona some issues with some pressure in the backcourt, kind of pressing them a little bit, but ultimately Arizona gets the win. As for Clemson, all right, dominant win over New Mexico, which I actually had going on a run here, but we know now the Mountain West kind of weak. And then a pretty impressive win over Baylor. It kind of got closer towards the end, but still Clemson kind of controlled that game from start to finish. So Clemson has really impressed me so far. All right, we'll get into each team in a little bit, but Clemson kind of first 10 games of the year, really impressive. All right, probably a top 10 team at that moment, but kind of went downhill due to some injuries towards the conference play, the end of conference play. As for Arizona, all right, pretty tough schedule. All right, they dropped a few games they probably shouldn't have, but we know the upside of Arizona. They're really talented. In particular, they got Caleb Love now. They've got Johnson from San Diego State. They've loaded up in the transfer portal, and they look like a threat. As far as, let's see, the bet is concerned, it looks like Clemson is, Arizona is favored by 7.5, and Arizona is being picked 79% of the time on the matchup predictor. So let's look at Clemson's schedule, focusing on tournament teams here. You've got a win over UAB, win over Boise State, win over Alabama, really good win. Alabama is still in the tournament. Wins over South Carolina and TCU. Lost to North Carolina. North Carolina is still in the tournament as well. Lost to Duke. Same situation. Still in the tournament. Lost to Virginia. Virginia, yeah, we know the story with Virginia. Went over North Carolina, though. So they split with North Carolina. North Carolina, like I said, is still in the tournament, a 1 seed. So that's a really impressive one there. As for Arizona, looking at the tournament teams they've played, they've beaten Duke, beaten Michigan State, beaten Wisconsin. Single-digit loss to Purdue. Like I said, they played a really tough non-conference schedule. Beat Alabama, double overtime loss to FAU. Wins over Colorado, lost to Washington State. Win over Oregon. Win over Colorado, lost to Washington State. Win over Oregon, then ultimately lose to Oregon again in the tournament. Why can't I spit that out? Lose to Oregon for the first time in the conference tournament, but they lost to Washington State twice, so keep that in mind here. But Arizona, like I said, the upside is definitely there. All right, Caleb Love, Bio, Johnson, and then for Clemson, you've got Hall. They kind of got in foul trouble. Clemson did against Baylor, but still came through despite having that foul trouble. I've been really impressed with Clemson throughout this tournament. I'll be real with you. I thought they were going to get dipped in the first round, but they've really impressed me the further we've gone on in this tournament. Arizona, we're one game away from Caleb Love versus North Carolina. That's what a lot of us want to see, unless you're a Clemson fan, probably. The thing is, I think Arizona's run might come to an end here. They're a little inconsistent as far as, like I said, they lost to Washington State. Washington State, not a bad team. They made the second round of the tournament, but still, I'm a little questionable on Arizona. Like I said, they let Dayton creep into that last game by adding a little pressure in the backcourt, which kind of worries me a little bit. We know Caleb Love's a little erratic. All right, he can kind of get out of control a little bit. Clemson, though, I've been really impressed by him, like I said. I think Clemson's going to win this ball game. So give me Clemson here. It's going to be close. Going to be single digits for sure. I think it's probably going to come down to one of the last possessions. I think this is going to be a really tight game. But ultimately, I think Clemson takes this one. I've been really impressed watching Clemson so far in this tournament. And I don't want to take too much away from just tournament play. But like I said, at the beginning of the year, they still have some impressive wins. They've beaten North Carolina. They've beaten Arizona. I mean, it's not Arizona, excuse me, Alabama. Clemson can play. All right, so they're no slouch. Give me Clemson here, but I think this is a tight one. Really could go either way. But ultimately, I think Clemson gets the win here by under 5 points. So who do you think wins this game and why? Let me know down in the comments section. Make sure to like this video and most importantly, subscribe.